Danbury Lakers, we've identified 4 ways that we could use our voice in different parts of our school campus. The sign on the screen is in every classroom in Danbury Elementary. It is a reminder of how we should use our voice in different parts of the building. For instance, let's start with the 0. 0 means silent voice, no talking, no noise whatsoever. It's a perfect spot for our fire drill, storm drills, or in case of emergency, because it's so important that you listen for directions. And if we're talking, sometimes we're not listening. So silent voice, no noise. Number 1 voice is a quiet voice. It's a whisper. We whisper, which is very quiet. That is sometimes in libraries, in the public library setting, as a whisper voice. Sometimes in our school library, when we're traveling the hallways, it's a whisper voice. In our restrooms isn't a place to be loud. It's a place to do our business and get out of there. Number 2 voice is an inside voice. It's a conversation like I'm talking right now. This is when we're working with a partner in the classroom, or if I'm answering a question out loud. In the lunchroom, I'm talking with my friend. At indoor recess, I'm talking with my friend. When we're on the bus, in the bus seats, we're just talking, having a conversation, explaining something, sharing something. And the last voice is number 3, outside voice. That is when we may be talking loudly or cheering at a pep rally or at a sporting event, calling out a student's name across the playground. It is sort of the chance to be loud, which is very important. The next is, we're not the only school that talks about different voices. Other schools talk about outside voices where everyone can hear you. Other schools talk about number 2, table talk, a normal voice, a conversation. In other places, talk about whisper, where only you can be heard by one other person. This is about controlling our voice and understanding why a controlled voice is so important. And at times, having no voice is extremely important. I'm going to share with you kind of like a pop quiz. Okay, Lakers, so here's your pop quiz. Here's a picture of students in a school. Are they using a 3 outside voice, a 2 table talk conversation voice, a 1 whisper voice, or a 0 no voice? If you answered 0, you would be correct, as they were working. Here's another quiz. Is that a 3, 2, 1, or 0? If they're working with a group, they're probably having a conversation and talking number 2. So if you answer number 2, again, you are correct. Here is another picture. Does that look like they are exhibiting a 3 outside loud voice, 2 conversation, a 1 whisper, or a 0 no voice? That would be a 1. They're close, they're whispering, they're probably sharing so nobody could hear their answer. Probably working very controlled. And here we have a group of students playing outside. This is probably an easy one for you. That's not something that we whisper. That's probably not a game that requires a 0 voice. Sometimes a 2, but mostly a 3. And we want you to have fun and use that voice at the right times. But this is what we also love to see. Raise your hands. Raising your hands, you get called upon. We don't shout out. We don't just blurt out an answer. We have to have self-control. So a lot of times we sit there with our hand up with a 0 voice and wait to be called upon. That's a life skill. That is something that's very important. I ask that you start developing what's called self-control, Lakers. Your voice is powerful. Your voice should be shared. and needs to be shared at important times. But there are also times that we do need to be quiet. So, Lakers, we've learned a lot about ourselves and we're learning a lot about how to behave in school. But this is bigger than just school. It's about at home, it's about in public settings, in a car, and other places. So, Lakers, let's keep doing a great job and let's set sail.